Hi, my name is Joel Taylor, and I work with Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. And what I do is I try to help people uncover and investigate their health, and in return, I give them healing opportunities to try to get healthier. And it usually has pretty good results. I think in general, you can have some expected expectations or some legitimate expectations of what's going to actually happen. So there's no guarantees, there are no promises. I'm definitely not smart enough to know everything about the human body, but I am smart enough to know a little something about some ways to be healthy. And so what I do is I use what's called the Dress for Success protocol, or I look at everybody's health underneath that lens, if you will. And so the D, it stands for Dress for Success, is DRESS, dress, right? So the D of dress stands for diet. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you today about, which is the diet. And so typically what I'll do is I won't work with anybody unless I know their metabolic type. And the reason why is because it's very important to every cell in their body. And what it does, it starts to illustrate how it is that our cells in our body like to get their energy. So for some people, you might be, dominated by your parasympathetic side of your central nervous system. For other people, you might be dominated by your sympathetic nervous system. So it all depends, again, on the individual. You have people that are fast oxidizers, and you have people that are slow oxidizers. And when the oxidation rate depends on your ability to burn up fuel. In other words, if it's a high oxidation rate, then you end up burning up fuel really quickly. If it's a slow oxidation rate, then it's an issue with your cell really taking its time to burn up the energy. So again, the metabolic typing is something that's almost imperative. It has to be known in order to help somebody. This is fairly inexpensive. The next one is the MRT test, and that stands for the mediator release test. And what it does is it identifies for you foods that are giving you some type of reaction or some type of sensitivity. And so what that does, and the reason why that's important, is because if you have a sensitivity to a food, let's say I have a sensitivity towards bananas, and if I don't know it, then I continue to eat bananas, right? And if I do know it, then I can eliminate those foods from my diet for the time being while I work on trying to rebuild my health. The bottom line of that is that if you have a food that you are sensitive to, then it's very hard for the body to repair itself, become healthy, because it has to deal with this sensitivity issue. And I just use banana as an example. People are sensitive to wheat, or sensitive to dairy, or sensitive to beef, or sensitive to broccoli, cauliflower, almonds, nuts. I mean, you name it. Their person could be sensitive to. I think that test right there illustrates about 170 sensitivities, so it tries to kind of go as deep as it can. It's for sure the best money for your buck, is to go through that. And once you have that list, it's easy to identify which foods are bad. Like I said, eliminating them for a short amount of time, and then reintroducing them one at a time to understand if your body is healed back and can take them or not. There are other tests that can fall under the word diet. For example, if you wanted to find out your neuron transmitters, what level they're at, you could run a test to find those out. You could also find out whether or not you're high in heavy metals. You could do that test as well. That's called a hair tissue mineral analysis, and that gives you not only heavy metals but also, like I say, different minerals that you should be getting from your food. And so that's a good snapshot into what's happening inside of your body. And kind of the list goes on, and it all depends on what ailments you have, what symptoms, what is it that you're looking to uncover, or what is it that I notice about your intake forms that you should look at. And so another test would be, I'm recently going with a patient to work on their Lyme disease, because they ended up telling me about different problems that they've had about numbness and walking and strutting, stuff like that. And it made me just realize, well, wait a minute, we need to find out, the Lyme test. We need to see where that's at. Just because for so many people, if they are complaining about those types of symptoms, then usually it is a Lyme test. But anyhow, like I say about the other test, there's dozens of them. It all depends on which ailments or symptoms that you're complaining about, or that you have the most of. So anyhow, this is a short snapshot of the diet portion of DRESS. Okay, and so usually what will happen in this area is that usually you can expect to eliminate a lot of symptoms through just making a proper diet for your body. And I'm not saying one diet for everybody, I'm saying one diet per individual. So depending on what it is that your body wants or needs, that's the type of diet that's the best for you. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to find my webpage at facebook.com/FDNJT and give me a message or get a hold of me. And again, that's facebook.com/FDNJT. Thank you.